Hello and welcome back to my channel, Boozy Bookish Thoughts. I'm Justine, or Jay if you prefer, and welcome to my new video. So today we are doing another haul. I wanted to do wine and book haul because I picked up some new wines, but I forgot them downstairs. And honestly, this is more a booktube channel than a wine channel, so we are sticking to the books. There was a book fair that I talked about a little bit in a short that I went to, but I actually ended up, okay, story time. I'm still drinking Tall Horse Pinotage Rosé. So we have a glass here, and let's do a little story time before the haul. There was a book fair, and it was in a different city from where I live. It's pretty far and not so convenient to go to. But my aunt and I were determined to go. Well, more my aunt was determined to go, and she's 73, and I didn't want her going on her own. So I was going to go. I took a day off from work to go. And then we figured out all the logistics, and we were hyped. I was like, yes, I worked out my budget, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna get new books. And the best part is, not all booksellers in the country are going to be part of the book fair, but their branches in the mall that's beside the convention center would be on sale, like a very generous sale, 20% off. So we were like, okay, we're not just going to the book fair, we're also going to go to the bookstore. So as much as I was going for my aunt, I really wanted to go for myself too, because I love shopping for books. We go, and it's a whole day, and it's amazing, and we actually end up not buying anything from the book fair itself. Partly because it was mostly religious books and textbooks. And when I say religious books, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not what I read. I am not particularly religious, so I'm not interested in that, and I'm not in school anymore and have no need for textbooks. And there were one or few like indie bookstores, but nothing really caught my eye. There was one smut book stall, and I almost bought something just for shits and giggles, but then I realized like I wasn't assured of the quality of the content, and some of them were like kinky topics, and I'm like, I don't want to spend my money on bad kink, like, especially especially you can get that stuff for free online, and really good online, so like I was like, fun, but not spending. There was also I was also hoping to get some graphic novels, but the only comics they had were either local comics that I either had already or am not interested in, or were Marvel DC. They didn't have any like graphic novels, graphic novels. So so that's part of the reason why I didn't get anything at the book fair. The other reason was because my ADHD ass forgot my earbuds at home when I was packing my bag, because like last minute I changed which bag I was bringing, and as I was packing my things, I forgot to pack my earbuds, like my headphones, and that meant that when I was at the convention center, so my ADHD ass forgot the earbuds, and my autistic ass could not deal with the number of people at the convention center without the protection of earbuds. And I was just getting very overwhelmed and very stressed by having so many people everywhere and in my face, and I couldn't even isolate myself from it. It was very overwhelming. So I was not a happy camper in the book fair. So I ended up finding like a table. It was meant to be for eating, but I just sat down and I did some more book shopping online. And prior to having gone to the book fair, we had already gone to the bookstore that I mentioned that was on sale, and I went on their online store and I like looked up which books were available and picked out which ones I wanted to go back to. So long story short, we went to the bookstore, bought some books for my niece there, and then went to the book fair, struck out, and then went back to the bookstore for me to buy the books I wanted. So, basically, I have 3 books that I bought for myself. Well, I bought them for myself initially, but then my aunt very sweetly handed me some money to pay for about 60% of it because she wanted to be nice. Her love language is gifts, and she wanted to be nice and help buy me the books. So she helped buy me these books, and so 3 of these are officially mine, and the other 3, which is a set, technically belong to my niece. So I just borrowed them for the haul video, but I promised I wouldn't remove the plastic cover. So there. And there are 2 other books that we bought for her, but she wouldn't let me borrow for the video because she's already reading them. So let's start with the haul, with the books that I wanted to buy for myself. Well, that me and my aunt bought for me. So I have 3 books. Oopsies. Is that? Yeah. 2 sci-fi and 1 memoir. And I think these are all pretty well-known books. But let's start with the memoir. So I have Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. It's a memoir of a indie rock musician known as Japanese Breakfast, and it's kind of coming of age story of her dealing with her mom's illness and being an immigrant, and just her life as a young adult in general. I actually thought she was a bit older when I bought this. So I am a little worried that I might not relate to it as much because I think I've come of age. I think I'm past the coming of age section in the bookstore. But still, I have been wanting to hold on to this for a while. And just the concept of crying in a convenience store, H Mart is a convenience store, is very relatable to me because I've done that. And yeah, I wanted to read about her life. I'm trying to read more memoirs. I have a whole bunch saved on my Scribd account, and this is a hard copy that I decided to pick up because, well, it was on sale and I've heard good things about it. So, Crying at H Mart, Michelle Zauner. Then the other 2 are sci-fi. One is new. I think this was just released this year, and one is a national bestseller. I don't know when it was released, but I think this is pretty old. I've seen a lot of people talk about this already. So Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, Japanese author. I don't know if this was written in English or if it's translated. I should look that up. But my aunt noticed that I bought this book, and she used to work for an international bank, and she remembers one of her Japanese coworkers reading this author, and I was like, well, he's a Japanese author. So this is about an artificial friend. I assume this is an artificial intelligence who is waiting to be chosen by a customer, so she's for sale. But when the possibility emerges that her circumstances may change forever, Clara is warned not to invest too much in the promises of humans. So the last line that really got me is, looks at our rapidly changing modern world through the eyes of an unforgettable narrator to explore a fundamental question: what does it mean to love? So this kind of struck me because just the other day, although I realized I had that realization after I bought this, but in general, as an indie person, sometimes it really feels like I'm not, it sounds bad to say I'm not human, but it feels like I'm outside looking in, and I'm constantly trying to make sense of something that other people intuitively get. And so I got really interested in this because if the narrator is the artificial intelligence, then I would enjoy looking or trying to understand what does it mean to love from that perspective. Trying to make sense of something that a lot of people find intuitive, but that you do not, is very interesting to me. So I picked this up, and oh, he's the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature. I didn't even notice that when I bought it, but look at me reading better books. Better. The last book I picked up is Upgrade by Blake Crouch. This has been talked about a lot on BookTube, and I heard about it on BookTube, and some of my favorite BookTubers have read it and loved it. I've never read Blake Crouch. I do own one of their short stories, but I didn't just pick it up because of the hype. I got interested because of the hype, but I looked at the blurb. There was an open copy in the bookstore. I just picked up a sealed copy. But basically it's about a guy whose genomes, his DNA gets hacked and he gets upgraded. I'm a little unclear if the upgrade happened consensually or not. The use of the term hacked makes it implies that it wasn't. And he then discovers that there's this huge plot against humanity as we know it. And I assume it's a eugenics type plot because of the theme of genetic hacking. And then he's the only one who can save the world because of his upgraded genes. And he's the only one who can save the world because of his upgraded genes, but will he lose his humanity because in the process, and all that fun questions that we asked during sci-fi explorations of humanity and the future. So I got interested, I got really intrigued, and I've heard a lot of hype about it. I've heard booktubers I really respect say that they love this book, so picked it up for myself. As far as I know, also it is a standalone. If you'll notice, all of these books are standalones. I have decided that I am only picking up standalones in hard copy now, because otherwise I will want the complete set in hard copy, which makes it hard. So standalones. And those are the 3 books that I picked up for myself. The books that are technically my niece's, but that I want to borrow, are two of the ones came from her. One of them I only learned about from her and from her book list, which is You've Reached Sam. I'll put a photo up here. And it is a YA romance. I think the premise is that it's a girl whose boyfriend dies, and then she texts him or calls him on his cell phone, and someone picks up, or he picks up. And so that's all I know about it, and just that intrigues me. So You've Reached Sam. I don't know who wrote it. I'll put the name of the author here and the book cover. The other book that my niece asked for and that we bought for her was James Rowland's The Starless Crown. Now, I am a James Rowland's fan from his Sigma Force series, although I lost track of the series already. At like the 15th or something book. So I lost track of the series because I remember the last book I read of it, I really didn't like the ending, and I was like, I don't want to read this anymore. I didn't like the love bearing that happened. And I was like, and they killed off a character I like, and so I was like, don't want to read this. And so I put off reading the next books, and now I don't remember what's happening in the series. So if I want to go back to it, I have to reread like 15 books or something. But anyway, that's his Sigma Force series. The Starless Crown is his first foray into fantasy, as far as I know. Although I think he did like a urban fantasy type thing before. Like one of his books had like vampires or something like that, but it was still set in modern day. This one, I believe, is straight up sword and sorcery fantasy. And I'm a little unclear on the plot, but it does appear to be found family journey, sword and sorcery type of thing. It's just an author that I reliably like, and a genre I generally like, even though those two are newly met. So I'm happy that I have the opportunity to read it. I'll put the photo of the cover here. So James Rowland's The Starless Crown. The other books that we bought are a set that I was thinking of buying for myself, but then I was like, it's a YA thriller. Do I want to be spending money and giving up storage space for a YA thriller? But I was so relieved when my niece, who is 15 and therefore the target audience of YA, just asked to be bought this series, because I was like, yes, Ninang is godmother and I'm her godmother, and I was like, Ninang will borrow. And that is the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. So we bought her all three. The first is obviously A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't know which of these two are the second and which is the third, but we have both. And I think everyone knows what these are about at this point, but it's about a girl who solves a small town mystery that has been brewing in her town for like several years. And the title is intriguing. The plot is just generally intriguing, and I've heard a lot of good things about this book in particular, and tangentially some of these books as well from BookTube. So I'm very happy that I have copies. Again, I'm just not even allowed to open them. And I have to return them after tonight. So, yes, these are my niece's books. She wants that to be made clear. These are her books and I'm borrowing. But we live in the same house, so I can borrow them as soon as she's read them. So there you go. Those are all the books I picked up during they weren't picked up in the book fair, but they were picked up in the sale inspired by the book fair. So here are the books that are actually mine. Crying in H Mark by Michelle Zauner, Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, and Upgrade by Blake Crouch. Yes, so there, I'm so happy I have new books. Unfortunately, I am currently in the middle of a unfinished list batch. I have just finished 2 books from the unfinished list. I have another 3 to go. Although I think I might cheat and read one of these instead. But let's see. I will update you in my October TBR video and my August-September wrap-up video. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining me for this book haul. I hope you had fun, and I hope you got intrigued by my book choices and enjoyed my story about an ND in a book fair. It's wild. It was wild. It was not fun. It was not fun. There were too many people and I did not have protection. Use protection, kids. So there you go. Cheers.